Oh, this may be a short video today. I don't know. It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, I have a couple little things I was going to talk about, but I just feel like I'm just talking about the same thing every day. I feel like I'm just um so anyways, I'm going to do my tooth first. Last night I had a like, oh man, it was intense. Uh, for one thing though, my teeth were all hurting before that. So it was it's weird because there was like this part of the day, like I had said last night, it was like all the day before, it was super loud. There was things that kept driving by. It was like, I don't even know. It was insane. And it was so loud and you could feel everything. And it would be almost like you would be shaking and it would be like you would like it would go away for a second. I don't know how to explain it. Where I kept feeling like, God, it's like some sort of glitch. We're just like, this thing is ending. This movie scene is ending or something. And so I was like, it was so uncomfortable. And then I went to bed. I think I was like not getting good sleep at all. And I think I was up at 1:30. Yesterday I was tired yesterday afternoon. And Stella is so uncomfortable. And I'm just tired. And then so all during the night though, there was so much activity. I could not believe how loud. And then it was raining and raining and raining. And so then I got up and it was just kind of like still. And then it started whatever we were doing. Everything is so weird. I'm telling you, I feel so I can't even express it enough. All I can think is that there's got to be other people that feel this weird and this disconnected, like this isn't real. Like even going into dream, like this whole thing is so weird. It does definitely start making you feel crazy. Luckily, I know I'm not crazy, and I can keep telling myself I'm not crazy, but it's definitely make you feel so weird. And so it was starting out, it was like quiet. It was just like quiet. There was like nothing. And I think I heard a couple things go overhead, and it's super loud when that happens. And I always just think like, does any of these neighbors, do they even think about like, wonder if that's the drones? I wonder what's going on. I wonder if it's the military or any of them that aware. Because you would think that they would all, come outside and look up and stuff. No, 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 no. I look up whenever I'm outside and I'm walking the dogs and they stop. I'm always looking up and looking at the sky. And that was one thing when I first came over here, and the neighbor and my daughter, when they became friends, then they kept saying how weird it was, how I would just go out there and look up at the sky. And it was like, people, I mean, that was years ago. I was when my daughter was staying here, and I was like, I mean, she's already left, went, got pregnant, the kid's 2 years, so it was like 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I cannot believe time, I can't believe I've lived in this house this long. Like, it's so trippy. God, time is trippy. Especially now as it's ending. It's like tripping me out, man. And so I looked out and it looked like sunny, and I was like, oh, fuck. Man, I gotta get going. Let's go for a walk, because we had skipped the day before, and Stella kind of needs it. She needs the exercise, and they all do, really. But, and then the mental stimulation. It really stimulates your dogs mentally when they go for a walk. And I don't know if it's the smelling stuff, and there's a lot of work for them. They're trying to think and stuff, but dogs get tired after going on walks. That's why it's good, especially if you have a rowdy dog or something, to go take them on walks, because it puts out so much energy. And so anyways, but Stella needs it for her hips, for her exercise, to keep her butt small. Otherwise she gets like a little large rumpidilliumpus. But hers is pretty narrow ever since we started doing the walking. But it used to be like, man, and that's where the vet was telling me, like, she can't have all that weight on her hips. So we've done good, and now her hips are really tiny, and she is out there walking. But it's when she's laying, is when she's trying to lay down and get comfortable. Is just like all the old people who have arthritis and stuff, And she gets whiny because she's old and she's sick of it. I mean, 8 years for a dog, and she's had it the whole time. So, okay, and she's a giant breed. So I'm just like, every day to me is bonus, 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 because their life thing is 6.5 to 8, is sometimes 9, and I've heard 13. That's why I'm hoping for 13. And when I used to be on Facebook, and I was on all these Mastiff pages and stuff, and I would read the ones, I would always be asking the people whose dogs had lived to be 13 what they did and stuff, and it has to do with how you feed them and how you take care of them, is how I always looked at it. So that's what I was trying to do. But then she also started getting all this sickness, and she's got to take all these meds, and I don't know what is causing this big breakout right now. And I don't know if the smell could be bladder, urethra, it could be anything in that infiltration system, anything in that reproductive system that's got clogged. I just saw a girl in the hospital, a pretty young girl. I would say maybe 40, maybe 42, something like that. Her teeth were falling out, and she said, I guess she's been really sick, and whatever's going on, it's making her teeth fall out. But now they told her that she's going to die. There's no hope because she's got candida growing inside of her. And I don't know, and this is going to be a lot more people of this, because this is what these doctors has already come out and said is what people are being overrun with inside. And I don't know about the horse paste, if it kills that. I said to her, which I'm sure she's done all Western medicine intervention, but I asked her, so we'll see. But fuck, even when I hear these people talking about heartworms and stuff, I'm like, yeah, but have you tried this? Because heartworm seems to be a death sentence too. And so, I don't know. I mean, they're fucking flooding us with this stuff. Oh, this was weird as fuck. Okay, now I'm skipping because the walk, it seemed really quiet until last night. Once the lights went out, all the fucking traffic up ahead started again. So I wanted to say that. And so I've been hearing it during the night, the flying over us and stuff. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And, but the, what was I about to say? Oh, God damn it. The candida, something growing. Oh, yeah, okay. So remember yesterday, sometime in the middle of the night when I got up to do the wood, I stepped down on my foot, and it felt like I was stepping on something sharp. So I reached down and I felt, and it was just this like calloused spot on the bottom of my foot. And which, I just thought it must be like scar tissue from the surgery, and it just has made this thing. And so I rubbed castor oil and stuff on it, but it's like, I mean, it's a little callous spot on the bottom of my foot. Like, I'm not going to stress too much about it. And so, so I get up and I walk, and it feels like I'm stepping on something sharp. And when I had the heel spur, it was on the back of my heel. And when they did the foot surgery, they did something from the side, but then he said that I had this big giant neuroma or something of a big bunch of something. I can't remember what he called it. So he had to shave off this bone spur. And then there was this neuroma thing he had to remove. It's like a bunch of stuff that makes a little ball or something. I don't know what the fuck. You can look it up. This was like 35 years ago. And like 30 years ago. So he took that out. And so there was something, there was everywhere I've ever let him cut in on my body, I've got where there's no feeling in the place. And so that callus spot was like by that. And so anyways, it was weird when I stepped on it, felt something sharp, because it's not where the spur was, because the spur's in the back. This little thing is somewhere else. And so then I was motivated to do a foot bath. So I got out my foot bath stuff and I put in Epsom salt and magnesium flakes. And I thought, okay, I'll just soak my foot. And then that always helps stuff, so I'll soak my foot. So I soaked it. I was sitting there soaking it. Boy, that was like really got the dogs. They were just like freaking. So anyways, I sat here soaking my foot. And then I had to get up, probably still wanted to do some. And so when I stood up, I was like, oh my gosh, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's weird. And I was doing it in the dark like this. And so then I was looking down at the water. And I was like, is stuff floating in the water? What the fuck? So I turned on the light, and there was these things floating in the water. Two of them look like something that I've seen people show in the Parasite things that they keep saying are liver flukes. And so I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Because I have seen people do these tox bath things and these foot bath things and all this stuff come out, but I wasn't thinking about that. So I wasn't thinking anything was going to come out. And, but I was also, thinking, what would help it. It would make, if there was something there, it would soak it out or whatever. So then when I stood up, when I was walking around, I was like, fuck yeah, that worked. Fuck yeah. And it felt like the thing was smaller. It didn't feel, it just felt better. And then I look in the water and I see this stuff floating in it. And then I was like, oh my gosh. So maybe I need to do a total toxin bath thing. And so I dumped out water because it was gross looking too, which was really weird because both the Epsom salt and the magnesium salt were both clear. And the water was not clear. And then I was looking at my foot. So in the next bath, I put the Epsom salt, magnesium flakes, boron, baking soda, vinegar. I put white vinegar, bentonite clay, and it seems like there was something else. But anyways, so I did this whole detox foot bath thing and filled it all up and everything. And I was looking at my foot before I put it in there, or whatever. I think I was looking at it and trying to take a picture when I started looking at these things, because I was like, how did these get out? Like, is there an opening or something? Then on my foot, I found like, so it's like a place like this, but there's like a donut in the middle. Like, this is different in this donut area. And then I was like, what the hell is this fucking thing? And so then I was like, well, maybe stuff did come out. Maybe it came out through that. Maybe it's a fucking portal. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I do the next bad thing. And I sit with my feet in that for like 20 or 25 minutes or something. And that water was really dirty looking just because of all the stuff in there. Like bentonite clay makes it look dirty and stuff. So that was harder to tell. But there was a whole bunch of black specks floating in it. And I kept trying to go down close to the specks with my camera to try and zoom in and see what they were. And I was like, oh, man. I mean, it could be something that was in the foot bath after I dumped it. I don't know. I don't know, but definitely. I feel better. There's still this weird thing. Like, it'll start feeling better, but then, like, I'll bend over to do something at the fire, and it's like, I don't know. To me, it's something with the connective tissue or something. And then when it hangs and it's not up tight, just pushing right there, it hurts so much, but it's so much better. Oh, my God. But it's so much in the injury area. So it just is weird because I would have thought it was so much better. And I had to take my rings off too. Everything feels so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. And everything is so fucking loud. And it's so intense, and feeling everything. It's just is like, oh my God. So anyways, that foot bath thing, that I think did pull out some toxins or something. And, but in that infiltration system, see that anything can lodge in there, and we got to keep it going. And under our lymph and all of your systems have like a portal into, and then it has a whole segment of events that occurs as it goes through its natural, occurring program that it runs to stay going. And so it's like dominoes, and it just goes and goes and goes. Just, it's so trippy because that's what we are in life too. I mean, we think we're just going around like this, but really we're just click, 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 click. We're on a fucking, we're on a transit or whatever it's called. I don't know. We're on some kind of a thing. We're birthed into a template that is running running this thing, so everybody is in the right place at the right time. You interact with the people you're supposed to when you're supposed to. There's no chaos. It's all so perfectly timed. And we're on that same little timer. Well, our whole system works on this timer, but that is what their constant disruption into our system is, to put it out. And then so they put our systems out so it doesn't run right. Then they flood us with parasites, even fucking man-made parasites. I mean, it's so fucking mental. So they flood us with this shit that goes inside of us, and then it starts battling our health too. And then they flood us with toxins, and then the toxins go into a sluggish system that is being disrupted even by other things in there, and then it is starts clogging up the filtration. So all of your filter system starts getting clogged, and people start getting, what they tell them is cancer, but it's really a clogged up filtration system. Like, people could go in and just totally do liver detoxes, do everything to just detox, detox, detox. You got to also, a big thing, like if you focused on Eastern medicine, is mind, body, spirit shit. You got to get out there and you got to move. You got to get your system moving. You got to get it all going. And so when you're trying to get your filtration thing, and one thing too that is important, like if you see them, remember when I had talked about that I was all of a sudden, I was out gardening that one day, and all of a sudden I was sitting in this room with these women. It wasn't like a room, it was like a port. It was like being outside, but being in a room outside, kind of. Like it was I don't know how to explain it. It was different than here. And so, so anyways, but all of a sudden I'm down in this crouched thing with all these ladies, and we're all just down there crouched. Everyone's crouched, and they're just kind of like, and it's just kind of like I don't know, a knitting circle. It's just like all these women just sitting there supporting each other and talking to each other and stuff. And we're just chilling, and we're all just down in this crouch thing. And in that crouched position kept sticking with me. And I've gone down into it a bunch of times, but then I started seeing about how that clears your lymph, and how over there, that is a common way to sit because of the way it clears you up. Like it's a healthier way to sit or something. Like everything they have us doing here is not healthy. It's weird. I mean, even if you go to some of these other places, and how you go to the bathroom is different. Like they don't have the same kind of setup as we do even. I saw one showing, I think it was in South Korea, or wherever it was, that it's like a hole in the toilet. You got to crouch down, but that is a better position. That's where stuff comes out real easy. Like they have us just sitting on this throne waiting for action, and people have got so many problems. There is so much constipation here, and I think it so much has to do with the aerodynamics of how they have people try and relieve themselves. So it's everything here is to complicate and make things harder on us. And you'd think that they would appreciate their invention, but they don't. No, they wouldn't. They don't give a fuck. It's just fun and games to them. It's just, terrorize us for fun and make money off of us, make us sick. And so anyways, but that is a big thing. Like, if you watch them different, because I don't know what all of them are called, but some of them will say for releasing lymph. Some will say this, because what is it, Shangguang or something? It's that is all about these movements and stuff, which are super important. And I don't know so much they crouch, but I see all these different videos, but it's always people over and like people from the Orient that live in a certain way of doing these movements, this face yoga thing, that all of it, their way of taking care of themselves is so much different than how we do. But they also have a lot of manipulation. So it's not like they're getting the perfect life either. They are so manipulated too, but still the way that they take care of themselves is way better than how we're taught to take care of ourselves. So one thing is everybody, like all of us, no matter what our age is, we should be able to go down and sit into that crouching position. And if you can't, then you need to work on it because it's important. Another thing that you can simply do to work on your strength is try going down into Indian position and try standing up without using your hands. Because you can do it when you're a kid and then we just stop. We get lazier. We just stop doing it. But it's a challenge. And I can't do it completely. I have to kind of push off a little and then I can stand up. But anyways, I work on it. You gotta work on it because it is something that is like your whole body strength. So we got to get back to being able to do those kinds of simple things, of being able to sit down without using your arms and stand up, but going to the ground. And then also staying in a crouch position because it releases all of this energy and lymph and stuff like that. So you got to keep your system moving and filtering. So anyways, they've got all these people's systems all clogged up. And I don't know if that's what's going on with Stella because whatever it is, like this whole breakout thing going down both her legs. She keeps licking her vagina all of a sudden, but I can smell like this chemical smell. But then also sometimes when I take a lot of minerals, then when I go pee, I'll smell a chemical smell, where I think is a real mineral one. And so it could be something like that too. It's like all these things that are just like you're trying to figure it out all the time. And but the thing with her is like she totally enjoys life. She runs around. She wants to eat all the time. All the fucking time. Like every 2 hours, she wants a fucking meal, man. And then these two little chubs, they've gotten so chubby because they want everything she gets. And so, and she's like 3-4 times their size. And anyways, so, but she likes to eat. She likes to play. She likes to go on walks, like everything except for when she's trying to get comfortable and sleep. That is her rough time. And so it makes it rough on me. And, well, let me think, because there was some other thing. What I wanted to start was with a tooth. So anyways, it was being like, last evening. So it was being this like super, super quiet. And then it was all of a sudden, when it started to get dark, it started to get really loud. Oh, the atmosphere would change because of the dark. And that would change the sound barrier thing. So that, because I was like, what in the fuck? What? That is so weird. But there wasn't really a bunch of cars driving by. But the ones that did drive by, it was like there was no sound. There was even a part yesterday where all of a sudden there was no sound. And it was like, what the fuck, man? And then it stopped. And then it was sound again. It was like, I am having the weirdest fucking experiences, man. Like, and I can't be the only one having all this weird shit happen. So then, all this, this intensity, this sound, and I started hearing the things up in the sky and flying low and all of that, where I kept thinking, you know, is this like a big show to try and get people to pay attention about the drones or get people to think about, like, because now they've said, they've gone through everything and now they're saying, oh no, they're spaceships, like we don't know. And then you got other people, like there was some people in Jersey who saw them out there and they're being flown by people. And but there's a whole bunch of different things. That's the thing. It's not just one thing. Whatever it is to try and direct our vision. So they're trying to direct our vision so we don't think for ourselves about it. So you got to just look up and just go with how you feel, what you think. To me, I think that there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's everything out there that you can think of happening. So, and it's going to keep going like that. So some of it is military, some of it is other beings And some of it is ships, some of it is distraction. It's all a part of the thing. And that was somebody saying, you know, how this did come so fast after that 39-day thing. So it really did start all of this stuff up in the sky with these dog fights and these things being shot down and everybody watching. And I saw a video of something with the moon, and the moon didn't look right. The moon was moving, all sorts of weird shit. There's just so many. And oh yeah, the place with the birds. Oh my god, the videos with the birds. I don't know. And I saw some videos of just all these animals just coming up in people's yards. Not the ones with the elk that were a few months ago. No, this was just everything. There was all sorts of animals just coming up in these people's yards. Like everything is being off, and who knows it. Like sometimes I feel like the dogs are feeling it and they get kind of scared and needy around me. I felt like yesterday that was a part of Stella's whining and stuff, because I felt so weird. Things were feeling so weird. And so I felt like part of it is like her whining, like, what the fuck is happening? And so some of it can be the animals like going towards the people. Some of it could be that they're off on their direction, like, and they're just ending up in neighborhoods and like, what the fuck's going on? But there's a whole shit ton of them, all different kinds too. And so, but the bird one, oh my god, there is so many fucking birds. And I don't know if they don't know what giraffe, I don't know what the fuck. So they're just gonna keep being all these weird things that are out of sync and out of place, and weird shit happening, sounds being weird, colors being weird, everything being weird, just everything is off, everything's falling apart. And that is the one thing too, is the people who don't understand that, how much it's going to bother them once they once it really starts showing. And it could be a lot this week. I mean, Joe just decided to send another $988 billion. Let's just send $988 billion over there. The Crane needs it. Like, so yeah, but remember, he has the role to play to destroy the economy, supposedly, before, so Donald can save the day. So we'll see how it goes. And it's not just for that scenario, you know, so yeah, Don can save the day or something. No, it's because of just how I don't know how the quantum computer decided to play it out, because the economy is changing. We're changing off of their dollar. I mean, that's just happening. We're getting off of this corporate rulers and this corporate and unfair world. We're leaving it. And so, yeah, we're leaving their money system. And so, and Donald's just the one who is ushering in the new one. I mean, he already had said a couple months ago he was signing on to the BRICS. So we already are signed on, but they still have this big battle with the corporations, the bankers and stuff like that, to take to give us our rights, really, and to try and enlighten us, to get us to see. And people are so scared and so desperate, and they can't see life as being any other way. And when you start telling them, they think you're crazy. So they think all these people are crazy, like Vladimir, Donald, and all that stuff. And it's like, no, you just haven't woke up yet. But that's why it's going to be so dramatic when they do, because they've been so resistant. And it's their biases. You got to remember, it's their biases that they're here for, their soul to witness in themselves, to heal. And there's a lot of stuff that people got to see for themselves, in themselves. And this is the perfect way to play it out. So anyways, we got the money thing going. And supposedly, Joe's supposed to crash it so Dawn can make the big changeover. And so, and one thing too is Kamala hasn't been out much, has she? Which is kind of weird. But then, oh yeah, the last big news I heard on her husband's leaving her. This stuff is so ridiculous. Pelosi, she's over traveling somewhere. She's sick and in the hospital. She may not, I would say she may not come back. That may be her out. Well, she didn't make it. Because that person, anyways, wasn't her. That person, that was in 2021 when that, the big show, the swearing in show, and they didn't even have the right stuff. And, those of us who knew what was going on, we were watching for the helicopters to start dropping in, the SWAT team or something. And, It didn't happen, it didn't happen. But then there started being all these people that were sharing these videos, because there was a bunch of us watching and trying to find, but there was people who, I think I turned it off at some point, but there's people who watched, but there was these people who, they looked kind of fancy, but they were definitely, it seemed that they were making arrests at this party. And there was definitely some weird stuff, and you could see the way that they were walking, and there was some stuff. And she was one of those that was in that. And she also, after that situation, and people started showing her on the stage again and comparing the pictures, it was like, yeah, that's not the same person. So I would say she was got in 2020. Just like Hillary, she was got in like 2016 or something. We're still playing along with this shenanigans. She's still up there chattering away. But, she has a lot of stuff to expose. Because I was thinking yesterday, that's their big thing with the voodoo magic. I thought maybe it was some movie I was watching, but that's their big thing with the voodoo magic, trying to be in there because, oh yeah, that's what it was. It was this old movie. And they were talking about that they take consciousness. These tribes, they take consciousness and moves them into other bodies. They use like these, like plants. And then they, can take someone's consciousness and move it into another body. That is like this creation of these zombies, because they really do have zombies. That one guy who was talking about his sister's a zombie in Haiti, he said they're all over the place. But the ones the masters that turn them into it, that bring them back from the dead, it's like they have to man them. It's like is their zombie. Like they are responsible for it. And so then you have a whole bunch of these different voodoo people who have their zombies out there going around. So Haiti is supposedly like a lot of those. But I was like, oh, so the zombie kind of thing of just being in control of somebody, and that is their whole thing of what they want to do, is completely control us. And they have their whole thing of like moving consciousness, but they do it with science or something too. I don't know if they do it with plants. But anyways, that was the big thing where Hillary started going to Haiti all the time. And she was working with one of those voodoo masters, supposed to be like the top one. She'd been working with him ever since like Bill was fucking governor or something like that, for a long ass time. She had been into the voodoo. And so anyways, I would say there's, they're keeping her burning weekend and burning around because of what else she's gonna have to expose, which is a lot of them. Same thing with Joe. I mean, it's so ridiculous. We're talking about Joe all the time, and it's not even the real one. Like, I think half these people aren't the real people. So there's lots of people in masks. Maybe that's why there's all these people from Hollywood. Maybe they're all playing these other people. Maybe it was the good guys in Hollywood finally were like, oh, finally they're getting rid of the bad guys, and we can come out and go and work again. And then they're going and they're playing the parts of these other bad people, so that, because it's all to expose it in an easy way to us, in a less threatening way. Because if we really had these real people around, we would be in more danger. Like, it would not be going so simple. Like we think, oh, this is going pretty smooth or something. It's drug out. It's long and drug out, but that's for the awakening. But we would not be able to, they would be going way different if these people were all still around. So, so a lot of these people are gone. And who knows how many top dogs in Hollywood are gone, because there's a lot of names, that a lot of us didn't even know, and they can take them and go. It was weird because now all of a sudden they started talking about, what's her name, Smalls again, or she was off Smallville or whatever, the girl who was a part of that NXIVM, and she worked like in movies, or she was on a show or something, and she really had this other life going. But she was also kind of the fall guy for that group as it was going down, because it was going down, I think, in 2019. So she was all over the news then, and now all of a sudden they're putting her back out there again, and her sentence and stuff. So I don't know if it's just to kind of bring us back around so that not enough people were paying attention, because all the stuff that I was seeing way back, I mean, yeah, 100%, there wasn't enough people paying attention. And all this stuff you couldn't talk about. It's just so wild now how it keeps going and going. And the last time I talked to my daughters, or the one daughter who blocked me the other day, she said that, as it was all of these things that I had said, now it was all coming. And so all this stuff that I kept saying about these people are, back then, man, I don't even remember. I was back when you first start hearing about it, it's like you can't sleep. It's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We got to stop this. How are we going to stop it? It's like horrible. And so, you start trying to tell people, because it's like, well, the more people you tell, the more people that know. But then you start telling people and they start telling you you're crazy. Stop believing that stuff on the internet and all that. And so you get that for years. And, but I was telling them that they use them, they have sex with them, they eat them, all that stuff. I was like, it's bad, man. And in the amount of kidnapping, which they just found a big truck full of kids, so hopefully some kids get returned. And another thing that's wild is somebody was just running the numbers on how many go missing every year in all these different places. America does have the most. I would have thought it was some place where they think that they can get away with it more, but I think that some of those places where they get away with it, they don't run the numbers. Like they aren't included in the numbers. Maybe here, because we run the numbers, some will be like, we're on the numbers, we're keeping the statistics, we want to know. It's like, yeah, right. Okay. But in some of these places where it's like, because I know a lot of kids that go missing are in poorer regions where it's more like farmers and stuff, where they don't make a lot of money, but they have a lot of kids. And and some of them, it depends on what organization you're dealing with, what the thing is, if they're going to help you out, or they're going to help you find a place for your kids, or some of them just take their kids, and then, they're not going to go tell anybody, because who are they going to tell? There's nobody on their side. So, because the police are also being paid by these people, and that's in this country too. So, the police are really on the corporation side, not on our side. And the corporation is filled with a bunch of fetishy fucking kitty motherfucking weirdos, man. And so and I saw more, I don't know if this Tim guy really had tunnel, whatever is going to keep being exposed, which would make sense if he does, because everything is about the exposing and to get this stuff up on the surface so that people stop thinking it's crazy. So it's more mainstream, more people see it. And that's what's so wild, is my mom's saying, they're talking this stuff on mainstream about Beyonce, Jay-Z, all this stuff. And so it's making her see that I was saying all that stuff and I wasn't crazy, even though to her, she was like, oh, well, that's really horrible. I mean, it could be true, but I want to not think it's true. It's like, well, how you thinking now? How you feeling now about it? And I was like, you can think whatever you want, but at least I've, giving you the thought of it, so it's in there. Because, yeah, when you first hear about it, it's fucking horrible. Like, you can't sleep. You feel like you gotta fucking go out and patrol the streets or something, save the kids. Like, what the fuck, man? It's horrible. And, so, let me think, because it seemed like there was something else I was going to say about something with that. I don't know, but I keep on going past my tooth. But so, anyways, when all of the noise or whatever started, as it started to become dark, and it started to become more like that, all my teeth started hurting. And which, again, I was like, okay, this is weird. This is like, is that like electrical? Like, what the fuck? And then I got out the vac, because I was walking on the floor and I kept getting poked by things. And I was like, oh, these little things that get on the dogs outside, and then they bring them in, and then it gets on the carpet. So I was like, I gotta vacuum. And so I turned on the lights and I started vacuuming. It felt like the vacuum was electrocuting me. I was like, okay, this is weird. And then I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so have I not been vacuuming the past couple of days? And I was like, no, I haven't. I've been using the hand thing. So I've been sitting there and doing the carpet by hand with one of those things that gets all the hair off. So I just sit there and do it all by hand, which is good exercise, I'm telling you, but it is hard work and it's tedious. And it was last night that I just wanted to hurry and vacuum. And the vacuum is tedious too because it doesn't suck up good because it's like this silty dirt and then there's so much hair. And then my hair gets wrapped up with their hair and just makes like these fucking, there's a lot of hair. And my hair is still just keeps falling out, even though I'm taking biotin and zinc now. So but I don't know, maybe it's normal falling out and I'm just paranoid. Because then I'll see some people like, and they're having handfuls of hair. I freak out if I get like 20 hairs or something. It's like, oh my God, all my hair's falling out. And so anyways, it felt like the vacuum was electrocuting me, and I was thinking, okay, so I haven't used the oh yeah, and my fridge has started making a weird noise, which I don't know if that has to do with this cutting me out on the electricity, and now they're not giving me enough to run my refrigerator, which I have the heater on, and I bet you it's starting to blow out cold air, because that's what it always does. It'll blow out hot air for a while, but then it'll blow cold air, and I have to turn it off all the time. The oven still, dryer still doesn't heat up. I think they're not giving, and when my son-in-law was here and I told him what was going on, he agreed. He said it sounds like all these things are because you're not getting enough power to heat them up. I said, that's exactly what I thought. And it was when I went against them and I said I didn't want a smart meter. And I don't know if that's what some game is that they're playing right now with not giving me a bill, is because they are going to say that they have to come out and read it, which is so ridiculous. We had the old-fashioned meters on, and you didn't have to come read those. And now all of a sudden you have to come read these? Like, fucking bullshit. Every fucking thing that they do and say is such a fucking bullshit and lies. And then the people who go out and talk for them, it's like, do you think for yourself? And there is being way more of that. There's so much more confrontation going between the two, the thinkers and the just doers. The ones that are just on... ones that people call NPCs, but really they're just lower chakra. They're just on autopilot. They're just on autopilot in life, you know, and they're not going deeper into it. Even though they can be going deeper into it, it's still everything goes back to three-dimensional, like how to behave. Like, it's weird. It's like, because it's so misleading. The healing, the spirituality, religion, all of this stuff, the way you eat, the way you take care of yourself is all so misleading, but they all go back into that is the only thing they know. But see, it's all breaking free. It all has to do with our mind mentally breaking free and our soul being like, I don't need this shit, man. So anyways, it's all, you know, we're all going through it. It's all this liberation of self. And so everybody's going through it. But this next part, whatever is going to go down, is going to be dramatic because of the resistance. And it's going to be more forced on them. And so it's kind of like Group A was doing it more natural, more driven by themselves, or the things that came into their life. Just like, you know, the people listen to me, like, look at the numbers, man. There's only a few people. And they hold my videos back so much. It's so crazy. But so I came to these people, like, I'm not out there just trying to push myself. I know it's the universe. The universe is, and it's on their time. It's what they do. Like, it's not up to me. And so, but I can go through the frustrations of, you know, going and doing videos and then having them held back. Is very frustrating. But but there's a very small amount of you guys that hear me, and most people hear a bunch of ridiculousness, and they are being misled by ridiculousness. Even Crystal said some of these spiritual people are promoting people to do drugs for a spiritual awakening. No. That's what I'm saying. Some of these people are so wacky. But it's all going to keep being exposed. But, you know, you don't have to go do drugs to have a spiritual awakening. It's going to happen naturally, exactly when it's supposed to happen. And Everything will happen naturally. You don't have to force anything. And if you go trying to force it, then you will end up in these other realms with these fucking creatures chasing you. And I don't know. You can go do it if you want. It's like you got to listen to yourself and what you're motivated to do. And some of those trips, like some of these people come out talking about it like it's the best thing that ever happened to them. But how many are you listening to that didn't have the best thing? I mean, you got to get both sides, because it's just as likely you could have the opposite. And ones I've heard have been nightmares. So it's like, you shouldn't be telling people to just go do drugs to have a spiritual awakening. You are a spirit. Like, you are a spirit. And you have a connection to all the other spirits. You have a connection to the spiritual realm. And that's what yesterday, too, I want to make sure that I clarify this, because on the grandmas, where I was talking about the grandmas, and my other grandma, one that's the tribe grandma, and I said the tribes are spiritual. That doesn't mean that they live a spiritual life, but they understand spiritual concepts. They know that ghosts are. They know all that stuff is real. So that's what I was talking about, that they know that. Like, you go to the reservation stuff, you'll get all sorts of stories. Like, you can even turn on YouTube. There's some reservation cops that will tell you all sorts of stories and stuff. Like, there's all sorts of supernatural stuff. So that's what I mean is supernatural. Doesn't mean that they're driven, like that they're all out there living a spiritual life. To me, living a spiritual life has to do with your purpose. It has to do with how you look at things. Like, when things happen, it's not just happening to you because the universe hates you, God hates you. Instead, it's happening for you so that you can learn and grow and expand. And all these different things are constantly happening. And so it's a change in that. And then also it had to do with I don't know, clarifying myself to myself, like being okay with myself, even if other people didn't like me, or think that I'm weird or whatever, which is a lot of people think I'm weird. And, but it's more about you learning how to accept yourself. And so when you can accept yourself, then you're, I mean, whatever anybody else thinks about you, that's their business. Like, I don't care. And so there's, in the spiritual world, there's a learning how to love yourself. That's what I'm always talking about, because that's what you're doing, is learning how to love yourself. And there's a process through it of reliving things, accepting yourself, accepting others, forgiving people so you can forgive yourself, because you've also done shitty things. Believe you me, there's somebody sitting there that's not wanting to think about something you did or said to them. When we cross in and out of each other's lives and we hurt each other's feelings and stuff, but it's not just to be an asshole, because most of us don't even know when we've done it. That it is, it's the gift that this person gets because it's their lesson. But in this world that is not spiritual, they tell them, that these people are out to get them, they're hurting them, and cut them out of your lives and stuff like that, which there does have to be boundaries. Like, you can't just let somebody in your life who's in there destroying it, and you just let them, because then you don't have good boundaries. You got to be able to, and it isn't, to me, just like pushing all these people out of your lives, because that seems to be such a huge trend of pushing people out of your lives. But then who's there that's to challenge you? You got to have challenges. What are you going to do? Like, who are you going to become? You got nobody who ever confronts you, nobody who ever disagrees with you, nobody ever hurts your feelings or anything like that. Then who are you going to become? You're going to become stale and stagnant. You're going to stay whatever age. There's not going to be any challenges in life. So that to me is kind of almost becoming, what is that, agoraphobic in the world. Like, go into your self-containment because someone's going to hurt you or hurt your feelings or make you feel bad or make you feel like you have to stand up for yourself. But that's what you need to do. You need to learn how to stand up for yourself. And the people that make you feel like you need to stand up for yourself is because they're there to push you into standing up for yourself. So those people who are saying things and challenging you there, they are there to do that. They're there to push you to feel that way. And then you feel that way. And instead of going like, oh, this is a part of me that I need to work on. Instead, you get mad at them and push them away. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're making me feel bad. And it's like, yeah, but in what way are they making you feel bad? Are they making you feel bad in a way that's going to help you grow as a person? Because that's what you want. You want to grow as a person. Like, what are you doing here? That is another thing to spirituality, you know. You find purpose in life. There's a reason you're here. And it has to do with growing and becoming better and smarter and wiser and seeing more and understanding more and forgiving more and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of purpose. So anyways, back to this feeling the environment. So anyways, something, I don't know, it was like all the sounds and stuff, and then my teeth started hurting really bad. And then the vacuums, like, it felt like it was just like I could feel the electricity going through it. So it wasn't like electrocute me or shock me. It was like, it was hard to hold. It felt like I could feel all the electricity that was going through it. It felt really weird. So I just hurried up, vacuumed, and put it back. But once I was tuned into that, and I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking weird. What the fuck is going on in this fucking world? And I've been doing that so much over a few other days. Weird shit will happen, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? So so we go in the bathroom to do my wash thing on my teeth. So one thing, okay, so I got the knobs, and I got this fig toothpaste, and something is turning my tongue brown. And so I don't know about that, but the last time I had gotten the knobs, I wasn't using it so much anymore, was because it kept turning my tongue white. And I kept thinking, what in the fuck? And I have seen people saying that there is some of these knobs that there is fake companies putting stuff out. So I don't even know on that. Like, if I've got some fucking fake ass shit and eating that, and it's causing my tongue. I don't know if it's the other one. I don't know if it's the zinc and mixing. Like, I have no idea. Like, what the fuck? And so then I was like, okay, so I'm going to cut back on that toothpaste stuff and not do it twice a day, not do each of them once a day. And so I had done one of them. I did the knobs in the morning, and then I looked at my tongue, and it was brown. And I was like, what the fuck? That is so weird. So I was like, okay, just later I'll do the peroxide. And so then it got to be later. I got to do the peroxide. I opened it a little bit bigger on the top. So when I swished it in, it was like a lot more went in. And I was like, well, I'll just leave it. And so I don't start swishing hard. I don't start going like that. And so I just kind of move it around in my mouth, like, gently. And I was fixing the dog's bed. So I had it in my mouth, and I'm just like, moving it around in my mouth a little. And I'm fixing their bed, so I'm bent over. Whoa, all of a sudden, it just like went into my fucking nerve or something. I just opened my mouth and just let it all come out right on the dog's bed. I was like, what? Oh my God, I could not believe how bad it hurt. Oh, fuck. I was like, oh, fuck, no fucking way. If this is what's going to go down, I'll have to get fucking pulled. There's no fucking way. And then I went in, I thought, okay, well, I should still floss. And so I went in and tried to floss up above, like up here, not even down here, right here. And it shot down into here. It was like the same kind of nerve pain, just shot through. So I was like, fuck that. Okay, I'm not touching my motherfucking mouth. I'm not taking a drink, nothing. Which I did not take one single drink all night. I still have to get up and go pee 4 times. Which, when I had told the doctor about that years and years, like 25 years ago, that I had to get up all the time to go pee at night, she said that's because you have a really good filter system. That's because your kidneys are working really good. And then my pee is usually really clear and a really light yellow. And so she was saying you have a really good filter system. And also another way to keep your system really clog free is drinking a lot of water. The problem is that they know that too. So they're poisoning our water. So that is another complication, another challenge in this whole fucking thing. Because even the people who have showed about the boiling the water, you can't boil this shit out. And the putting more chemical, like you can try all these filter systems, but you have to get some like heavy duty filters or try and find clean water. It's just another challenge in this fucking mad ass world, man. And so then when it started hurting, I was like, okay, I'm not doing a motherfucking thing. I'm just closing my mouth and I'm just going to go in and keep picturing it healing, and I just leave it to just kind of let it do its own thing tonight. Just don't touch, don't do anything. And so I got up and then I went in and looked, and I swear to God, it looks better. But it definitely, I can feel like air hitting into it. I was really scared this morning when I drank my tea, because I was like, oh, fuck, man, it's gonna fucking hurt. But luckily this covers over it. And so then I just take a little drink, and I didn't feel anything like that. But the air, when I'm talking and it moves down, the air hits into it. I can definitely feel that. But it's not anything like that last night. Like, oh shit, that hurt. Oh my God. But it was like all my teeth were hurting so bad. And it was like going back and forth across here. It was crazy. And I was like, okay, this has got to have to do with the energy. Because even on some of those ones where the people talk about the Schumann, they're always talking about if you got teeth pain, teeth pain, teeth pain. So I kept thinking about that last night. I was thinking, that's why it's hurting. That's why it's hurting. It's this intensity of the energy. There's something going on, and it's causing this like, ooh, like where you can feel like the ground starts shaking. It's not shaking right now, but last night though, when I laid down on the couch, oh my God, the whole couch was shaking. And I had to sit up, and I was trying to see, is one of the dogs leaning on it or something? I couldn't find anything that was causing it other than just the couch was just shaking. It was so fucking weird. And so anyways, there's something just energetically, and I think that is adding into the tooth thing. So I'm just gonna keep on trying to keep going and just keep on healing it, and it looks better to me. And I did do a lot of like visualization, especially every time I would get woke up during the middle of the night. I go straight back into I'm tired. I'm really tired, man. Oh, it kicks my ass, man. Not getting any sleep. Visualization. I don't want to be whiny though, but I'll definitely take a nap today at some point, hopefully. But some of these days, man, it's wacky. I don't even know how. Like, I don't know. It was definitely like I got more into just being in the moment or something. But I don't know. It's weird. It still is weird. Like, it's very weird. Everything is weird. Like, cooking. Like, today I'll cook again. It seems like some of my days are just taken over by cooking. It's so weird. And then, so I think today I'll cook. I'll probably make more cookies because I'm running out of cookies. Because every time I have a cookie, like, that's why I have a half a cookie, because she's got to have half of it. So everything I have, she eats half of it. And then they want in on it. So it's like, so I think I need to make more cookies. And then I've got to cook a whole new batch of food for them. And every fucking time, you never know when the power's going to go out. And even yesterday when the fridge was making all these weird noises, I was like, oh, fuck. Motherfucking fridge gonna go out. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it is just like every fucking day, some fucking bullshit. And so, but then I was like, okay, well, at least it's cold enough. I can just put the food, whatever food. I just won't buy a bunch of fucking food. And I just keep it in an ice chest outside. It's cold enough to keep it outside. I mean, in some places, that is what I have seen, even in some other countries. Like, they don't even have a fridge. There's one that was really cool. So they took something. It was, I don't know how, I can't remember how they did it. It was really trippy. Because it was like taking a bucket and then putting this water around it or something, and it freezing. And so then pulling the bucket out and them having this encased thing of water. So it's like a big, giant deep bowl of ice, and then they put all their food in it, and then they put a lid on it. I can't remember exactly how it is that they make it, but that's how they keep their food stored outside, is they make these ice things and then they keep it out there like that. So here we are paying to have like radiation or something be hitting us all day long in our fucking cool ass houses with our cool ass appliances and shit. They're really fucking toxic and killing us. And probably as a part of slowing our system down, there's something weird. Like I've said for a long time, ever since this all started going, like I could hear the electricity and stuff. Like it's fucking intense, man. This world that they have created for us, that we've accepted their creation. But this is the part where we stop accepting their creation and we start making our own creation, which that's when it's going to get fun. That's when it's going to get good. Right now we're still in the part of breaking free from theirs, which is dramatic and it's emotional and it's a lot of different things, and we're still in that part, and we're going to be in that part for a while. I'd say all of 2025 is going to be people's response, because I think it would make sense anyways that there's going to be huge things besides $988 billion headed over there, that that this is the big this event thing, whatever's going to happen, this money falling apart, the government going down, because this is exposing all these people who are involved, which I even kind of feel like Zelensky, that guy, that he is like a paid actor. I don't know that he's this person that they make him out to be, because I don't know. They made like that they got him off of a sex show or something, put him in as president, but I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a lot of actors out there that are playing the parts of the bad guys, because the bad guys were too bad and they had to get rid of them, but they had to still show who the people were. And so it's just weird, because it's like he's really like tricking people still, and we're at this time of truth, and so it's weird to see like how this is all going to play out. But so whatever is going to go down, it definitely seems like this is going to be, the first part. However this is going to go, this big shift, because you have the very divided over who people trust, and it's going to be exposed, and this money thing is going to flip. So there's a lot of stuff that's about to flip in this. So I would say that is all on the precipice of, about to be the next step. And then once that goes, that is when we're going to go into this big period of time of so much healing, because of so many people they're going to feel tricked, they're going to feel confused, they're going to feel angry. It's going to be intense. And I think that is what a lot of 2025 is going to be, is like the aftermath of what happens once the truth is known. And then after that, then things will start getting better. But we got to go through this part. There's no way to skip it. There's no way to go around it. Like, the people have to go through the process. And that's what everything is about, is this soul release and these processes for the soul to release all of this stuff. So, yeah, it has to go through. We can't just be like, oh, well, forget them, the NPCs, they don't deserve it. It's like, then you've got biases, you've got issues, and you need to work on those. Because you got to see, like, all souls are equal, and we all have different parts to play, and we all have there's different, windows to look at in this giant thing. And so everybody has different places of your perspective, your POV. Everybody's got different ones. And they're all significant. And the ones that these people have are all significant, no matter how much mind control they're under and stuff, that still is significant. And so all these things have to still play out. And then the people have to, work through it. And so that's stages. It's the stages of grief and stuff. So all these people have to go through all these different stages. And it's going to take a while. It's not going to be like, oh, well, we'll give them till Valentine's Day, and then they should be doing better. Assholes, they should have woke up sooner. Then if you think that, if that's your attitude, then that is what you need to work on. And you're going to see it. You're going to notice. If you keep having a shitty attitude towards what's happening, it's going to keep standing out to you. And that's what you got to keep looking at. You got to keep looking at your own shitty attitude and why you have it, and why you can't just go for the ride and let everybody have their day. Let everybody have their awakening, and just know that what we have coming up in the future is going to be way better. but we do have to go through this process. And there will be things that will get better for some people while this other stuff is still going on. It's not like we all have to go back through it, but overall the general thing on the planet will be a lot of confusion and sadness and anger, all of those things that you go through when you're healing. And so we're gonna be, the collective will be very overrun with that. But that is also why there's so many people who already have healed, because that is going to keep things moving. So we aren't going to get stuck and be stagnant. It's going to help people stay moving through their traumas and their feelings and keep going. And that is going to push us so that we take all that we've learned and all that we've grown, and we're going to develop a whole new way of living, a whole new way of existing. And that is going to be the beautiful part. That's going to be when things start really getting good. But we still do have some more stuff to go through. And that is also, while we're going through that, we're still going to be going through fucking changes on the planet, changes on our landscape, which there's also another weird thing about where some of these drones are being found. They are over LABs of certain, what was the one? It was something plasma lab. So there's one over where they're finding them in California, and then over in New Jersey. So there's these two plasma labs, and so I don't know. I know that it's not just one thing, and I know it's not something that we need to be scared of. We gotta just let this play out. However it's going to play out is going to be bringing us forward, just like, this pretend monopoly money that Joe's sending over there. It's not $988 billion. Like, where the fuck are you getting this money? And they just funnel it around so that they can funnel it back to themselves and to their friends, because then their friends owe them, and then their friends open these businesses, like, and all that stuff. There's been so much corruption in regards to those kinds of things. And the people involved, just like, what really stood out to me when I caught on to what it was, and it was during the Gulf, and it was Enron. It was when all of a sudden they said, oh, well, we got to go over here, and we got to do all this stuff from, over here in, what was it, Desert Storm, Afghanistan bullshit. And then they said that they had, then all these certain people start going over there and putting businesses and building these things over there, saying, oh, they had to have those things over there. And that is when I started seeing, like, you'd have to go look up all this stuff if you don't know about it, of who was going over there, who was opening what they were doing and stuff. But that is when I started seeing, oh, like, you could see through the war machine but you got to be paying attention. Like, you can see through all their stuff, but you got to be paying attention. But that's why we live in such a state of distraction all the time. They're constantly distracting you. And that is a part of the celebrity life, is to just create the distractions for us, to keep us always looking in the other direction, always looking away from what it is that they're doing. Because once we look and we watch them, what they're doing, we catch on to their bullshit. You catch on to the fucking nonsense. And there's been some of us who were born with suspicion. We came in with suspicion, so we were watching. But that was because it was a part of our role, it was part of our journey, it's part of our life journey, to be the ones who are out here talking about the shady shit these people are doing, so that people are going to keep on start noticing and catching on. And then, to me, I don't know what all the other people are talking about, but to me, there's such a farce behind spirituality. And spirituality is very important to me. Like, that has been how I've lived my life. And it started from, when I was young. And it started out with being religion. But the religion could never capture me or get a hold of me, because my guides were always telling me that the stuff that they were teaching was wrong. And they were always telling me, how the right thing. And so I started seeing through religion. But I have always known that we were spirit. I've always known that this is not me. I mean, even I came out of my body when I was younger, and I've talked about that. And so it's been clear to me always that this is not me. And then when you try and understand it, and to me, you go and start watching or listening to stuff about reincarnation. That's where I found so much information, or it was like everything started going together to me when I was younger about reincarnation. It's like, oh, that's what we're doing here. What the fuck are they talking about? Like, your reincarnation is what's real. They're sitting there telling these people a bunch of fucking crazy ass shit, and these people believe it. And you hear reincarnation that makes sense, and people are like, oh no, there's no way. No, this makes sense though. Okay, Jesus and God, and he's going to kill everybody unless you worship him and say his name. Like, that makes the most sense to you. This other shit doesn't make sense to you. It's like, I don't know. I think if you studied this, you may find holes in that. Like, but people don't go and look into the other thing. They just stay on the narrative. They stay on the program. They stay on what they've been shown, taught, you know. And so it's, but you got to keep breaking free from that stuff, because they're lying, they're making shit up, and they're tricking you. And so, yeah, the reincarnation, and then to me, what are those things called? The NDEs. So the near-death experiences, those went just hand in hand to me with reincarnation. Just goes together. So to me, like, and I was studying that years and years and years and years ago. And because I started with the Shirley MacLaine, and it was way back when I read the Celestine Prophecy with Marianne Williamson, and I can't even get over that. It just trips me out that how did I leave this reality? Like, how did that happen? How did I go from Marianne Williamson writing the Celestine Prophecies, and then all of a sudden, you know, here she is, this wacko, like, it's so weird. And, but yeah, in another world, she wrote that book. It was a deep spiritual book of, to me, it was like the possibilities. And it was so, it's so much, like it carries truth in it. So to me, it's like, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is how we're supposed to be living. And I don't even remember, like, I'd have to read the Celestine Prophecy again. I don't even know if it would have the same kind of impact on me. I tried to read The Catcher in the Rye as an adult, because it had such an impact on me as a teenager. Then I tried to read it. I was like, fuck, I can't read this shit, man. And I was like, what the hell? But boy, it sure mattered to me back then. Oh my gosh, I felt so much like, okay, this guy, me and this guy, we could be friends. Like, I don't even remember how crazy he was, but I was somebody who was constantly being told I was crazy. I was always thinking about weird shit. And like I said, I was like born with a suspicion. I was born watching. And I had a strong moral substance, I guess. Like when my dad first started trying to, you know, touch me and stuff, I became a fighter. I took off running, you know, while I hit and took off running and stuff. And then when he would keep coming, I would hit and kick, and anybody who came up and trying to, even that one guy, like I had said, that David Hall guy who kidnapped me and Jennifer out of the neighborhood that one day, because we were the only ones out there playing. And we were just walking around looking for some other kids, because our neighborhood was just full of kids. And so we were looking for some other kids to play, because her and I didn't normally play together. She usually played with my little sister, and I played with kids that were older. But so we were out there looking, and we were going to Susan's, because Susan was friends with everybody. And she was like my age, and she was the deaf girl. And so that's where I learned like sign language and stuff, was from her. But so so Susan lived next door to David Hall. So we're going up to Susan's door, and we're knocking or something. So we start walking out because nobody answered the door. So I think like we were like by the driveway or something. And David Hall, who looked like Herman Munster, he was huge, like he just looked like him. And he drove this big white truck thing. And he just comes like just staring at us, just walking across this yard. And I think both of us just stood there like, what the fuck is happening? We both were like frozen. And he comes just running over, or not running, but power walking, I would say. Grabs us both. So he grabs her in one arm, and then he grabs me in the other. And this is where I knew we had trouble, because he put his hand in between my legs and put his finger like right up through my shorts and through into my thing. He was sexually assaulting me, and so we're being carried like this into his house. So I don't know. Her and I were both fighters. Luckily I was with another fighter, and so we're fighting as he's trying to get us in there. And so he gets us into his house, and he takes us into his bedroom, and he throws us on his bed. And both of us start running at him, and he would throw us back on the bed, and we would both jump up. We didn't stop until he let us go. So we got away, but luckily, like, you got to fight. That's all I can tell you. I've fought every time from anybody who's trying to be assaulting. That doesn't mean I've never been sexually assaulted. I've been sexually assaulted a lot of times, but I'm a fighter. You got to fight. There was another time that we were getting kidnapped. I was with a friend, and we were at the mall, and these guys, I don't know what, they opened their truck, and I don't know, it was a weird thing, but once I got in and knew that there was a problem, that's where the fight starts, and whatever the fight was, and then we got out on the road right there, like by the thing, like I get him fighting, like there's like, all I can say to all these girls, like, that's why it's hard even to hear, like, that's mom, like, your kids are kicking your ass, you can't stand up to your kids. And that's why I say there is like a deep narcissism around this victim mentality. It's like so attention seeking. And it's so sad because we have reached a point in our society of just wanting attention for the worst things. Like, and people want to be famous for nothing. They want to be famous for the worst things. They'd rather be famous for doing something gross than, like even that Hawk Tuohy girl, like how she goes Hawk Tuohy, and everybody's like, oh, well, God, she's the greatest thing, which I think it was all some kind of weird scam, especially when it came down to this money thing. And she's selling a coin, and then these people fucking get it, and then it goes way up, then it drops, and then, I don't know, there's a whole thing around it. So some kind of, her whole thing was a psyop or something, like was she put in there for that, and then they promoted the Hawk Tuohy bullshit, because it's absurd. I mean, to me, like, I don't know, you got to do a little bit more. I got a little bit of higher standards, I think. You got to do a little bit more to impress me. Like, going on Hawk Tuohy, like, no, chick. Like, that's, I don't know. There's a lot of people, though, who have really low standards, like the smallest thing. It's like, oh, let's worship them. They're the greatest thing in the whole wide world. It's like, what the holy hell? So, anyways, that whole thing. But let's look at my tooth, because I'm going to be stopping soon. As I keep on thinking, like, I don't know, do I even have anything else to talk about? I don't think so. So, yeah, I mean, there's weird shit going on. You got to write it out. You got to focus on what's important. You got to look at your own stuff. It's a way of looking at things. It's your perspective. It's opening your perspective, opening your mind, opening how you look at things, So anyways, that's what, to me, that's all everything is about, on everything that's happening. So anyways, let's look at my tooth. Because I do think it looks better, but definitely as I'm talking, the air going in, and that's one thing that is making me feel like, do I really need to keep talking? I don't know. I don't think so. I could just go rest my tooth some more, because it stresses me out when it keeps hitting into this nerve thing. So let's look at it. So, because I really swear that the darkness, look at, like, you'd have to do the still shots or whatever and really do a comparison, and I'm not like that into it, but like, the darkness looks way smaller to me. If it is, and I'm just gonna keep on thinking that, that the teeth pain is because of all of whatever is going on here. And I don't know. All I can say is it is affecting me in a weird way. It's making me feel like I'm not really here. It's making me feel like I can't tell what's dream, what's not dream. That I can't, like, it's strange. And this headache thing again, like, just sitting here, like, this whole band headache thing starts again. I don't even know what today is going to bring on the energy, is it going to be, I wish they would just hurry the fuck up, just hurry the Just goddamn start having some spaceships, shoot some shit or something. Like let's get this party started. Like, why does it have to drag so much, man? It's like, god damn. Yeah, but I know, like, that's my own issue. Like, it's gonna drag as long as it's gonna drag. There's nothing I can do about it. I can sit and whine and cry and stomp and yell at my guides all day long. That's not gonna change anything. It's still gonna go exactly the way it's supposed to go. And if I can sit there and cause my own stress and whine and cry because I can't control it, or I can just learn how to find peace and to just roll with the punches and go with the flow and let it go and let it be, let go, let God. So it is so much about learning how to let go, man. There's so much in that with life. Learning how to let go of things, learning how to not try and control things, or learning how to, what things you have control over and what things you don't have control over. And what I have found, you have control over your attitude. You have control over how you look at things. You can't control really the outcome of things. You can't control, just because you want something to be a certain way, you can't make it into what it is you want it to be. It's going to be what it is. And there's a reason that it is the way it is. And right now, we're just at this time where everybody's at this period of loss and losing, and everything's being taken from us. And we're not to the part yet of receiving. So there will be, this part of loss where everything is going, but then there will be a part of receiving where, better things will start happening. And so, just keep that in mind when it feels like, fuck, man, this sucks, man. But we're still in that part. We're still in this big, heavy energy of loss and things being taken and people's lives falling apart. And the reason why it's all falling apart is so that they turn their eyes towards God, or towards themselves, or towards their higher self, or towards what really matters. It's supposed to all be this leveling field to get people to look at things different, to see the deeper side of life. And there's just a lot to it. There's a lot of this, and it's weird because we are coming from such a different place from where it is that we're coming and where it is that we're going. And there's been so much misleading. So many people don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're given a platform, but it's because of what is leaving is those kinds of things. And so there will be, some people will have a big humility involved with what it is that they have been pushing and saying and stuff. So there's just a lot of stuff that still has to fall apart. And there's going to be big shifts too. When certain things will happen, there'll be a big shift where a lot of shit will fall apart. And then it's like we have to go through that. And then another shift will happen, and a lot of shit will fall apart. And another shift, and then a lot of shit will fall apart. It's I don't think that they can just do it all at once, because it will be too much. It will be too much. I don't know. I know that our energy has a lot to do with this, because that is what I believe is creating the Schumann, and I believe is what creates the solar flash, is just this energy. Like, we think all this energy that is going is happening to us or something, but we're a part of it. We're putting our energy out, and we are creating this whole energetic field. We're a part of it. So, and all of it is this changing frequencies too. Yeah, it is kind of like, okay, so it's kind of like if we were going from the radio station where we were tuned in and we were all living our lives, just going dutifully, being responsible and dependable and all of the stuff that we were doing. And then the frequency started changing, and it started pulling us out of, to be like, wait a minute, what am I doing? And it started getting us to look at things because it started changing. So then it started dialing away from this one. But the scramble, it creates more chaos for the people. And so it's kind of like our frequency is scrambled right now. And that is why another good reason why to spend time in centering yourself is finding yourself a place to just center. Yesterday, even when my teeth were hurting really bad, I just went outside and stood on the ground. And then I went to one of the biggest trees and just held the tree. Stella went right with me. She's right with me, watching me. She's always watching me with all of the stuff that I go do. But I just went out and held that tree for a while and tried to, because there is something about our energy. It's like you plugging in and your energy has to like reset or something. So, because we are energy beings, this whole little facade is not what you really are. And so, anyways, the energy of the chaos in this frequency. But then when we get over to this one, see, we're going to be fine-tuned into a whole different station. But we're in this scramble part. We're in this part where it's in between the two stations. And some of us are wanting off of that station. We want to get to the new station. And then some people are like, just want the station to tune back in that they were in and want things to go back to normal. They want things just to be regular again. And they don't even realize that they're a slave, that they're living in a lab and being used. So, anyways, all of that is kind of what is going on. So we're still in the scramble. But once we get tuned in to the new station, then it's going to be like, it's going to be so much better. But I don't know how long we're going to be in the scramble. It's all of the different people, you know, and I think that we can unscramble it for ourselves, but, you know, there still is like weird stuff happening, like weird stuff happening, but I don't know how to explain. All I can say is it's just a lot of weird shit, and you just got to kind of ride it out. You just got to go with the flow and just keep yourself, like, even last night, I just kept saying over and over inside my own mind, I exist because I exist. I exist because I exist. I exist because I exist. Because it starts making you feel like, is this real? Like, what the fuck is going on? So whatever it is that you can find for your own self to keep yourself centered, to keep yourself feeling, you know, who you are and what you are and stuff in this period of chaos, because I would think it's going to get more intense. There will be like this big slap. There's going to be this big like slap moment. It's going to be very intense, but then it will kind of be, we'll go to our own intensenesses. And so for some of us, we've already been working through a lot of this, so it's not going to feel as intense. And we're going to feel a lot more centered or released. I'm really hoping that this is going to show us our truth, you know, as I'm really hungry for my truth. Like, I really like to know more about my truth. Like, this is, you know, I mean, I've been doing this for 4 years, and even like where my videos are in 60 views, like I don't know, the whole thing is frustrating, especially, you know, I mean, I would say that, well, you know, it's what you talk about. Well, that's funny because I see other people talking about the same shit and they're getting hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views. So it has nothing to do with my subject matter, and it has to do with censorship. It has to do with whatever, you know. But anyways, you know, it was my guides or whatever was the ones who told me to get out here and do this, even turned my light on, made me get up and do it. And yesterday I was sitting there, well, maybe I'm not going to do it anymore. Maybe I'm just really sick of it. And, but then it's like, oh yeah, but are you really? No, you really enjoy it. You really like to go on and talk about all this crazy stuff. And so even if it is just me and 60 other people who are talking about it, like, we're going to just keep doing better and better. We'll be doing good when things flip. Just mark my words. We'll be doing good. Like, it may seem real crazy right now, but it will get better. I mean, you can't just say it's going to get better for everybody, because there's going to be a lot of people that's going to feel like things just got way, way worse. But for the people who feel like everything's been hard and drudgery, and they've been working on themselves and trying to really get themselves together and stuff, things are going to get better. Things will get better. So just remember, because I'm honestly telling you the truth, what it is that we're all doing here and what the importance is, the value of what it is that we're doing. And the important things that we're doing is learning how to love ourselves, to love everyone and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So that's what we're here for. And that's what, I'm going to keep talking about to work on. So I will be back tomorrow and talk about it again. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.